I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته, and welcome to what I hope to be a new episode of Ask Huda live, broadcasting to you from Jeddah. And I apologize for the technical error. Apparently there was no sound, but no problem. We will start all over again, inshallah. The first question, until we receive your phone calls, was from Iman, and I read the whole question, so I'm not going to read it again. Iman says that he suffers from a low level of Iman, though the 10 days of the Hijjah and before, he was feeling extremely well, and after fasting the 9 days of the Hijjah and doing the things as usual, though he continues to go to the masjid for prayer, he continues to read the Quran, he feels a lot of doubts and bad thoughts, evil thoughts coming into his mind. He's scared that he's becoming a hypocrite. What can he do to get rid of these doubts and the feeling of hypocrisy? First of all, you have to think like a criminal in order to fight crime. You don't have to be a criminal, but you have to think like one. So if I were to think like Satan, and I would like to get you off your comfort zone and into my world of doubts and suspicion and hypocrisy, what would be the best thing to do? To cast these doubts. Al-Hasan al-Basri, and it's also reported that Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said that, may Allah be pleased with him, that hypocrisy, no one fears it except a believer. And no one is in safeguard from hypocrisy except a true hypocrite. So if I feel that, no, I'm not feeling any feelings of hypocrisy, I'm, mashallah, in strength of my Iman, then this is a sign that I am in the wrong path. So this is a good sign that you are still a believer and you believe in Allah Azza wa Jal, and you have a lot of Iman in your heart. Secondly, you have to analyze what had been introduced into your life after the 10 days of the Hijjah, because there is a probability, there is a possibility that after doing good deeds, and a lot of them, Shaitan comes to us and says, listen, you've done something that gives you credit to loosen up a bit and maybe do lesser good deeds for like 3-4 weeks. So he gives you the feeling of content and being happy of what you're doing, to the extent that you let your guard down, and this is when he attacks you. So what I would advise you is that you offer ruqya on yourself without any hesitation or fear. Don't get thoughts in your mind that I have jinn, I'm possessed with jinn, I have black magic, I have envy, I have evil eye. All of this, put them aside. Offer ruqya to yourself to restore your Iman and to cast away any of these doubts. And at the same time, try to analyze what came up. So if you have new company, bad friends, then get rid of them. If you were all the time with your good friends, practicing Muslims, and now you're a little bit away from them, go back to them again, so that you can get the ball rolling again and you get the system restored. But don't allow the shaitan to come and play with you in this fashion. Muhammad sends the questions. He says that he works in the capital city of his country, and it's about 120 kilometers away from his house. He spends 5 days in the capital working, and he goes to the in the weekend for a couple of days to his house. So is it permissible for him to shorten and join or combine prayers? And the answer is no. This is not permissible for two reasons. First of all, 120 kilometers is not something that is considered to be far, especially when people are commuting on daily basis. And I believe that there are people who are commuting on daily basis from the capital to your village or to your town. Secondly, the 5 days you spend in the capital, because it is permanent and this is your work, this gives you the status of a resident. So you're residing in your village or your town, but at the same time you're residing in the capital for 5 days, and therefore you should not combine or join. We have Riham from Saudi.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
I'm 16 years old and I'm schooling here in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
And my father works here too, but I want to study tafsir in Al-Qura.
Okay.
And I want to know how to register because I can't find any information about how to get admission.
Okay. I'll
Do
try
you have
to.
any idea about this?
I will try to answer your question, inshallah. Any more questions?
No, that's it.
Okay.
Jazakallah.
Wa jazak. Riham from Saudi Arabia, she's 16 years old. MashaAllah, she has the interest of completing her studies in Al-Qura and doing tafsir, which is one of the noblest sciences of Islam. However, she's unable to register. She doesn't know how to register. I'm afraid that I share the same ignorance with you. I do not know how people register online for Al-Qura University. So the only thing for you to do is to go with your parent, with your father, or with both of them, and go physically to Al-Qura and ask around so that you can see whether it is possible for you to register or not. Online, I have no idea if they have this or not. Safiya, our third question from the email, she says, can you tell me if Khidr, peace be upon him, is a prophet or just a righteous person, and what is the significance of the event that took place between him and Musa alayhi salatu wassalam? It's an issue of dispute whether Khidr was a prophet or not, and the most authentic opinion that he was a prophet. Otherwise, one of the greatest 5 messengers of Allah Azza wa Jal would not be ordered to go and seek knowledge from him. And if you look at the events, he says in one of them that I have not done it through my own will, meaning that it is Allah Azza wa Jal who wanted to do this, and Allah revealed to me to do what I had done. And about the significance, there are so many lessons to be learned. Among them is that this incident took place because Musa, peace be upon him, was asked by the sons of Israel, is there anyone more knowledgeable than you? And he said, I know no one who is more knowledgeable than myself. Okay, we have Abu Fayyad from Qatar.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Yeah. I have one question regarding the witr prayer.
Okay.
Okay. After the Isha prayer, I didn't pray witr with the intention of getting up for tahajjud and make the prayer for witr. And I was overslept and I could not got up in time. By the time I got up, it is already Fajr time. Do I need to make up a witr prayer? If I need to make the witr prayer, how I need to make the witr prayer?
I will answer your question, inshallah. How many rak'ahs do you offer during your witr prayer? Okay, I think we've lost Abu Fayyad. Abu Fayyad has a question about when a person misses his witr prayer, or generally speaking, his night prayer, and he wakes only for Fajr. So does he have to, and underline the word have to, does he have to make up for the night prayer missed? The answer is no. It is not a must. It is not mandatory. It is something highly recommended. Okay, then if it's recommended, how do I do it? You have the time between after Fajr, after the sunrise, 15 minutes after the sunrise, up till about 5 to 10 minutes before the adhan of Dhuhr. This is the time where you can make up for your night prayer. And how do I come about this? Well, if you pray total night prayer 11 rak'ahs, then you should add 1 rak'ah to make it even numbers, and you pray that 12 rak'ahs during the daytime, 2, 2, 2 until you finish 12. If your habit is to pray 7 rak'ahs, 4 shafa and 3 witr, for example, as people say it, then you add another rak'ah and you pray 8. And likewise, if you pray 3 rak'ahs as witr, add another rak'ah and pray 4 rak'ah. This is the way that you should do to make up for your missed witr prayer. And we go back to the question of Al-Khidr. So the Khidr, the incident itself happened because Musa said, peace be upon him, there's no one more knowledgeable than me on earth. Then Allah Azza wa Jal wanted him to know that the knowledge you have is nothing. So go to that man, you will find him at that specific spot, and be with him, and you will learn from him. And okay, we have an international call, so I'll take this inshallah and continue. Tariq from the UK.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
How are you? I am from Birmingham. We
Mashallah.
met at Greenland Masjid as well some time back.
Hayyakallah, bro. What can I do for you?
Bro, I have a quick question. It's regarding this, the business. I asked another question before. It's for public relations, because you are, mashallah, an expert in this field as well. We were thinking of producing something for litigation PR, the public relations, which obviously deals with, the legal cases and all that. So how companies can look into effective strategies when their cases are going on. But it came to my mind whether it will be okay to do some work on in this field or not, because obviously all the legal cases that these companies, most of these companies will have, will be in the European courts. And obviously, there is no Sharia in these courts, and they fight it on the basis of the rules and regulations which are
the
in
line
place
has
here.
gone.
So will it be
But
okay
basically speaking, I'll attend to Brother Tariq's
field,
question inshallah in a minute. Let me finish the story of Al-Khidr. So what's the significance of the story of Al-Khidr? First of all, you have to acknowledge the fact that you do not know everything. And that is why the only instruction in the Quran that Allah Azza wa Jal ordered His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to ask for more is knowledge. وَقُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا. There is nowhere in the Quran where Allah orders His Prophet to say, oh Allah, increase me in health, in wealth, in power, etc. Only knowledge. So Allah is telling His Prophet, say, increase me, O Lord, in my knowledge. So this is something that we all have to acknowledge, that our knowledge is insignificant. It's very little. And we have to keep on pursuing, asking and learning and teaching people. Secondly, whatever calamities take place, there has to be a wisdom behind them. There has to be a reason. So if I could not catch the person who's responsible for this, I would take this as the will of Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah preordained it upon me, and I know that Allah does not preordain upon me except what is good. And this is only for the believer. So when the ship was a little bit harmed, and when the boy was beheaded and killed, though he was still young, and when they, or Al-Khidr, fixed the wall that was about to fall, there was a wisdom that Musa could not understand. But Al-Khidr did that because he was a prophet and Allah ordered him to do it. So one of the biggest significance of this story is to appreciate Allah's gift to you through calamities. Even a calamity is considered to be a gift and a blessing from Allah Azza wa Jal. You may find the wisdom behind it, you may find the justification, and you may not. But both ways, you have to trust Allah Azza wa Jal, who only chooses the best for you. As for Brother Tariq's question, he's asking about acting on behalf of foreign companies, especially in Europe, where they may be represented in courts that do not apply the Sharia. First of all, public relation is a big and vast terminology that has a lot of branches in it. Like any other career, it can be halal and it can be haram. So if you always put ahead of you a compass that guides you to what is halal and what is haram, and you apply that, you're in the safe side. So even if I have to represent a kafir company, a company that is not a Muslim, depending on the work I have to do. So if they tell me you have to advertise, you have to participate in exhibitions, you have to publish an annual magazine, I'd like to look into this If I'm going to include something that's haram, if I'm going to include lies, a lot of the public relation people lie bluntly because they have to polish the image of their company. So they say things that are not related to reality or to the truth. This is haram. Your income is haram. So if I have to publish pictures of women or use music or go into places that Islam forbids me from doing, I cannot do this. If I have to go into a non-Muslim court for a legitimate case, so this comes to a Muslim lawyer, for example. I have a case in the Netherlands. It's a non-Muslim country and their laws are non-Muslim. But I have a right, I have a dispute with another company and I'd like to get my rights because they've transgressed against me and they took my money. So would it be logical to say, no, it's non-Islamic laws, you can't go there, and the millions you had, khalas, forgive them and give it to them? No. Islam tells you have to go even to their courts, the non-Sharia compliant courts. This is kufr, but because I'm in a necessity and it's my money and this is the only way to get it, then this is permissible. Now, once the judge rules something and it exceeds my right, so if I need $1 million from them and the judge says compensation, we'll give you 20 million. I'm allowed only to take my $1 million and give them the 19 back because I cannot transgress as well. And likewise in courts where marital problems take place between Muslim spouses and the wife wants separation and the judge may give her half of what the husband has or possesses, this is not permissible because this is a kafir court. You are allowed to take only what Islam permits you to, and the rest you have to give it back to its lawful owner. So I hope I understood your question, Brother Tariq, and I hope that I've answered it correctly. Now, Taha has another question. He says, well, it's the first question, so it's not technically another question. Taha says, it's my common habit that I pray 2 rak'ah of repentance after Dhuhr prayer for whatever sins I did, and 2 rak'ah of shukr, of gratitude, of being thankful after Maghrib prayer. So, just to thank Allah. Is this permissible? The answer is no. This is not permissible. And it is not permissible because it's an innovation. It is not permissible because it is an innovation. If you make a sin, for that particular sin you may pray 2 rak'ahs for repentance, asking Allah for forgiveness. No problem. But if you pray it every single day after Dhuhr prayer or after any other prayer, this becomes an innovation because you are innovating with this. Likewise for gratitude. If I pray 2 rak'ahs of gratitude because I came home safely from work. I come home safely from work every single day. So praying this rak'ah is an innovation. This is not permissible and you should not do that. The fifth question is anonymous. Yesterday, he says, when I went to the bathroom, I saw a stain or a drop of urine on the seat, the toilet seat, and nobody uses that toilet seat. And it was dry, so now I'm getting these ideas that were my previous prayers accepted because I sat on it. I don't know what to do exactly. Please guide me. I'll give you a simple rule. We always say this simple rule on and on. I'll give it to you and you try your level best to comprehend it. What is this rule? It's very simple. Certainty is not removed, does not go away by doubt. So this is the rule. I'll give you an example. I come out, I leave my home with my ablution. I prayed Fajr and I performed ablution. 9 o'clock in the morning, I wanted to pray Duha. And I said to myself, am I in the state of wudu or not? So I have to reflect on it. Am I in the state of wudu or not? What is certain? The certainty is that I am in the state of wudu. What is the doubt? Did I nullify it or not? So what to do? We take the doubt and we throw it in the dustbin. So my wudu is still intact. Why? Because this is certain. Now let us try and reverse this. I went after Fajr to the bathroom, answered the call of nature, and left to work. 9 o'clock, it's time for duha. Now let me think. Did I perform wudu after answering the call of nature in my home or not? I'm in doubt. What's certain? What's certain is that I've answered the call of nature. And what is the doubt? Did I perform wudu or not? So I cast the doubt away, and what the most authentic and applicable thing for me to do is that I did not perform wudu and I have to go and perform wudu again. Now going back to the question of the brother. The drop or the stain of urine on your seat, this is something that you are not sure whether it came to your body or not. Now it's in your toilet seat. Can you say 100% definitely it was there an hour ago and definitely it was transferred to my body when I sat on the toilet seat? You can't. And therefore, cast the doubt away and apply what has to be applied, which is the certainty in that I am clean and my body is pure and there is no impurity on it. So I hope this answers your question. Ubaidah, I believe that we have a problem with the ear. I cannot hear anything from the control room, so I will continue to read the emails until they sign to me and say stop, we have a break, and then they will probably fix the headset. And my cameraman is telling me, go on ahead, we're not stopping. I ain't stopping, inshallah, until the questions are over. Ubaidah says that white patches disease skin affects on 50% of the body. It looks very ugly, having two kinds of color on the body. Normally skin pigments are not coming back, treated, etc. So the answer is, can we treat the skin so that it would have a uniform color? Please advise, Jazakallah khair. The question is that people may have some kind of patches disease that changes the color of the skin. So you'd find someone with spots in the fingers, in the face, in the body, different color, because the I don't know what it's called, the melanin or something like this, the coloring it goes away. So I think my camera people are saying that we have a short break. Maybe they can fix the ears piece. So stay tuned, and inshallah, I hope my level best that we will be back in few minutes. Stay tuned.
Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy.
Whispers of Satan, desires, peer pressure, leading you to a dead heart. But there is a way out. Living hearts.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back, and we're back on air, alhamdulillah. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and phone. Now I can hear, inshallah. So going back to Ubaida's question, these white spots, due to the difference of coloring, are far, far less than the rest of the body. So if you apply creams on these white spots to restore the color to your normal body color, this is permissible. Now this is washable, of course, and it would be a process that you would undergo twice or 3 times a day, and there is nothing wrong in that, because you're actually restoring or trying to restore or imitate restoring the normal color. Ismail from Saudi.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Salam alaikum. Yes, brother.
Yes, I have a question about the rules about traveling salah when you travel, the shortening of the prayer.
Okay.
I was confused. Last week I traveled to Medina, right? By car.
You're from Jeddah.
On the way, I shortened Zuhr and Asr. But when I arrived inside Medina, I arrived there while the Maghrib Azan was on, right?
Okay.
And I still needed to check into the hotel and find a place to park and all these kinds of things. And when I was done with all of that, it came to Isha. The Azan, when I got into the hotel, the Isha Azan was going now again. So I, was very confused. If you are traveling and you arrive at your destination, are you still allowed to shorten the prayer, or when you arrive at your destination, do you need to complete the full prayer at that time, or can you please explain to me
I will explain, but while you're on the line, Akhi, Maghrib is never shortened. 3 rak'ahs are always 3.
No. Yes, I understand that one.
Okay, I will answer your question. And
also, this is further than that. If Maghrib is 3 and Isha will become 2 when you shorten, right?
Yes, true.
The time if, for example, I prayed Zuhr and Asr at the time of Zuhr, because when I got to the garage, it was Zuhr was in that time, and I prayed Zuhr and Asr shortened. Do I need to pray Maghrib and Isha shortened during Maghrib time or any time in the night?
I will ask you one question. Are you from Jeddah?
No, I'm living in Riyadh, but I'm not originally from Riyadh.
Yeah, okay. Dhuhr and Asr, you prayed them on the way or in Riyadh?
No, on the way.
Okay.
On the way. I was already very far from my, from my house when it came to Zuhr.
I will answer your question, inshallah. Okay. Do we have another caller? Right. Brother Ismail's question was, before that, let me go to Ubaidah. So I hope Ubaida's question was answered. If the white spots you restore and put you put a cream and the color matches your skin, this is no problem. But if you undergo certain treatment to get your full body white, if you're black or if you're yellow, or if you're a bronze color, to get it the whole thing white as the spots, this is not permissible. This is changing the creation of Allah Azza wa Jal. Brother Ismail, Maryam from Dubai, we apologize for being late.
Oh, okay, no problem. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brother.
Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh.
Check. Yeah. May all the blessings of Allah, of Almighty Allah, be upon you and the rest of your company, inshallah.
Ameen, and you too as well.
I just want to ask regarding about the last name of a person in Islam upon using it. As a revert Muslim, alhamdulillah, I just want to clarify my confusion. It is not permissible to use another surname like husband's name other than your father's name, even if you are just using it as a contact or display name in the social media such as Twitter or Facebook, or etc. What is the ruling in the Sharia about this? And are we committing sins in that, if such so? Hope you can clarify my questions. Jazakallahu khairan.
I will try, inshallah. Jazakum. Brother Ismail's question about shortening prayer. He is asking about shortening the prayer, and very simply, once you leave your hometown or the town that you're residing, as in his case in Riyadh, you are allowed to combine Dhuhr and Asr, this is one set, or Maghrib and Isha, this is the second set. And you may combine it forward or delaying it, which means that if I'm in the way, I can pray at the time of Dhuhr, 2 rak'ahs of Dhuhr, and then proceed Asr to be prayed with it afterwards, after concluding my prayer. Now, or I can travel the whole noon time until it's due for Asr, and then I pray 2 rak'ahs of Dhuhr and pray 2 rak'ahs of Asr at the time of Asr. In your case, you arrived at your hotel, it was Maghrib time, and you were unable to check in and do all the paperwork until it was Isha time. So this means that you are allowed to pray the 3 rak'ahs of Maghrib at the time of Isha. And this is combining between Maghrib and Isha and delaying the first one. This is no problem. And then you pray 2 rak'ahs Isha afterwards. But most likely you would pray with the congregation in the masjid, so you have to pray with the imam. So if the imam prays 4, you pray 4. If the imam shortens the prayer, you pray 2. So in this case, yes, you would have been allowed to combine and join, even if you reach your destination. This was your question. Reaching the destination, you're still labeled as a traveler. The only time that the destination matters is when you go back to your hometown or to your residing city. So in your case, if you're staying in Medina for 4 days, 5 days a week, and then going to Mecca for 5 more days, and going to Taif or going back to Medina, the whole journey you shorten and combine if you wish. Praying on time is the best. Shortening is the sunnah. But if you pray in a masjid or you're next to a masjid, it's mandatory upon you to pray full. But if you're on your own or you miss the salah and you're praying in the masjid, you pray shorten the 4 rak'ahs into 2. Maghrib and Fajr, they are not affected, the number of rak'ahs that is. Once you go back to your hometown or the city you're residing in, which is Riyadh, then all the excuses of traveling is over. So the minute you enter the border of Riyadh, you cannot shorten, and you may only combine if you delayed the prayer to later on. Abu Fayyad?
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Wa alaikum salam, akhi.
Yeah. One more question on witr prayer.
Okay.
Yeah. In the witr prayer, dua khunut is a mandatory?
Okay. Anything else?
That's it, Shaykh.
Okay. Okay, we are through with Ismail's question. Mariam's question from Dubai. She's saying in reference to the surname and the name of the husband. It's something that the Muslims picked from the non-Muslims. So a woman would change her name into her husband's family name, and this is not permissible. This is imitating the kuffar. And if changing her second name as well is involved, this is a major sin. And Allah curses whoever does this. So if someone's name is Fatima and her father's name is Muhammad, and she gets married to Ali Ahmed, and she changes her name into Fatima Ahmed, this is completely prohibited. And the Prophet cursed whoever changes his father's name. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Whoever changes his father's name, my father's name is Luqman. If I change my father's name because it's not so cool, and I decide to call myself Asim Uthman, it rhymes and it's more cool for me, I will be cursed. Because my father's name is Luqman, it has to be as it is. So she's asking also about doing this on Twitter or on Facebook. Well, a Muslim should keep his name. If he is to give himself a nickname, it should be a nickname that he uses. So if I would call myself as a nickname Shorty, and I put this in my Twitter account or my Facebook account, it's okay, everybody knows me as Shorty. But if I call myself something that may confuse people, so I call myself Asim ibn Abdullah. Okay, Abdullah is a name that fits everybody. All of us are the servants of Allah. If I call myself Asim Ahmed or Asim Ali, this is not permissible. I'm lying when I'm saying this. So you should keep your name as it is, named after your father, or if you wish, you may call yourself a nickname that people know you with, inshallah. Abu Fayyad's question about the dua of al-qunut Is it mandatory in witr? And the answer is no. It is. Is it recommended? It is part of the sunnah? Well, in the hadith of Al-Hasan ibn Ali, may Allah be pleased with him and with his father, the Prophet taught him, alayhi salatu wasalam, what to say in the dua of Al-Qunut. Allahumma hadini fi man hadayt wa afini fi man afayt, etc. Now, it was never reported to us that the Prophet alayhi salam had said this dua himself. He only taught Al-Hasan. That is why some scholars say it is best to say it some days and leave it some days. But if you leave it the whole year and you never ever say it, your witr is intact, it's complete, and there's nothing wrong with that. We have Zahran from Saudi.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I have two questions.
Okay.
My first question is regarding fasting the 6 days in the month of Shawwal.
Okay.
So suppose if we
Can you mute your TV, please?
During the month of Ramadan, if we have any...
Mute your TV, please, Zahran.
If we have anything to be made up during... and if we are the latter part of Shawwal, are we supposed to do the fasting for the month of Ramadan first, or can we do the Shawwal fasting first and then continue with the Qada?
Second question.
The second question is regarding shortening of prayers he was mentioning. Now, do we have to have the intention before leaving the house if we are going to have the prayers during our trip shortened?
Okay.
Or just on the way we can decide and pray it?
Okay. I
Thank
will
you
ask
very
you.
much.
Ayyakallah. Ahlan wa sahlan. Okay. Zahran's question was about the 6 days of Shawwal. And he says if we have missed days from Ramadan, can we make up, or do we have to make up for these missed days and then follow that with 6 days of Shawwal? Or can we put the 6 days first and then later on in the year we make up for the missed days of Ramadan? What are you after? When you want to fast the 6 days of Shawwal, what are you after? Everyone says, well, we're after the great dua where the Prophet ﷺ, the great reward that is, where the Prophet ﷺ told us that whoever fasts Ramadan and follows that with 6 days of Shawwal, Allah Azza wa Jal would reward him as if he fasted the whole year. So this is what you want. Fasting the whole year, the reward. So if you want this, go back to the basics. What is the hadith? The Prophet says, alayhi salam, whoever fasts Ramadan, the whole complete Ramadan, and then follows that with 6 days of Shawwal, Allah would reward him the fasting of a whole year. Now, if you missed 3 days due to traveling or due to being ill, or if it's a female due to her menses, and she missed these 3-4 days, if she finishes Ramadan and wants to begin with the 6 days of Shawwal, would this apply to her? And the answer is no. Why? Because the Prophet said, whoever fasts Ramadan. And this sister fasted only 27 or 26 days. She missed 4 days or 3 days. So in this case, in order for her to be rewarded, she has to make up for the missed days of Ramadan and then afterwards fast the 6 days of Shawwal. This is a specific incident regarding to the hadith and the understanding of the hadith as well. Brother Adil from Saudi Arabia.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
Hayakallah, ya Sheikh. How are
Ahlan wa sahlan. I'm fine, jazakallah khair.
Can I ask you 3 quick questions, please, if it's okay?
Be my guest.
First one is, if I'm praying behind the Imam, when exactly should I be praying Surah Al-Fatiha as a follower?
Okay.
Number 2 question is, can you tell me what is the origin of the Jamarat? I used to hear that it's supposed to be Ibrahim alayhi salam, then Ismail alayhi salam, and Hajar. 3 different places Shaitan went and he got rejected by all 3 of them. But then I heard that it's all 3 places it was Ibrahim alayhi salam himself who was tempted by the Shaitan to not do what he was ordered to do by Allah.
Okay, the third question?
And the third question is,
You forgot.
Yeah, basically, at the moment, yes, if those two will be very nice if you can answer them, please.
Hayyakallah akhi. I will answer your questions. Zahran's second question was, do I have to have the intention for shortening prayer and combining before I leave the house? And the most authentic opinion is that you do not need this. And to explain this a little bit further, if I'm going to Medina, I'm on the way, halfway, it is Asr time. It is, sorry, Dhuhr time. So I park and I go to the masjid, I pray 2 rak'ahs of Dhuhr. And then after I finish, I change my mind. Instead of praying the Asr in Medina, I said, why not join the prayers now? I didn't have the prior intention to combine before Dhuhr. Some schools of thought say that this is not permissible. If you don't have the prior intention of combining the 2 prayers before you start the first prayer, you cannot combine. And this is baseless. There's no dalil, there's no evidence that obligates me to have this intention. So after finishing Dhuhr 2 rak'ahs, I say, okay, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, I make iqamah and I pray Asr, combining the Asr to the Dhuhr at its time, and there is no problem in that. Sibleen from Saudi Arabia. Sister Sibleen. Yes, sister.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, actually I want to ask about the investment in the Islamic banks. Is it legal Islamically or not? Actually I'm having some gold. I don't want to keep that gold with me. I want to sell that gold and invest that money somewhere where my money remains safe, and as well I can get some pocket money on the monthly basis so that I can fulfill my basic needs, as my husband just don't like to spend on me with his bills like this. So
okay,
please guide me where I should invest living in Jeddah, legal Islamically.
Is there any specific bank?
And no, not specific bank, but any place, anywhere where my investment remains a little bit safe and I can get monthly pocket money.
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah.
Okay, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Adil from Saudi Arabia, he had 3 questions. One, we got a discount, so it's 2 only. The first question was, when is it the proper time for the ma'moom, the follower, to recite the Fatiha? Because we hear that the Fatiha is a pillar, and it is a pillar of prayer. So what is the appropriate time to recite it? The scholars say that the most appropriate time to recite it is between the Fatiha and the surah. So when the Imam says, غَيْرِ الْمَغْضُوبِ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ آمين, you start to recite your Fatiha. Even if he begins with the second surah, you may continue to recite it. But is it mandatory or not? It's an issue of dispute. And the most authentic opinion is it is a pillar in every single prayer, except in the prayer that the Imam is reciting it loudly. And in this case, it does not become a pillar for the follower. It becomes a recommended and mustahab. So if he doesn't recite it, the follower, his prayer is valid only in the rak'ahs that are recited loudly by the Imam. In silent rak'ahs, it goes back to the same ruling, which is a pillar of the prayer. We have Fatima from Saudi Arabia.
Hello.
Yes, Sister Fatima.
I have a big problem actually. I am in Saudi Arabia for 16 years. When my daughter was 1 year old, I started cleaning, washing everything, and I have this disease called obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. Almost 16 years I am suffering from this, and because of this I couldn't pray properly, I can't do my duties properly, I am getting frustrated, depressed, everything. Sometimes I feel like I must not live anymore, so this is becoming very big problem to my family, and my members in the family or others, they are worried, and I am very much sad because my children are getting affected because of this. What can I tell? What is the advice you can give in Islam? What can I do for my this bad habit and get rid of it and have an Islamic life, Muslim happy life?
Do you think that you have? Do you think that you have hope? Do you ever think that there is hope?
Sometimes, because I can't just live my life. No, it will be I will become a non-Muslim and die. I don't want to do that. I want to be a Muslim and die as a Muslim.
You think you can you can do it? You think you can do that?
I want to do it, so I need help.
Okay, I will give you, but you have to listen to me with your heart, not with your ears. Okay?
Yes, sir.
I will answer you, inshallah. Let me first take these questions and then I'll get to you, inshallah. Brother Adil's question, he said that we used to think that the Jamarat, where the people go and throw the pebbles in Hajj, were locations regarded to Hajar, the mother of Ishmael, and Ibrahim, the three, the family. And then somebody told me that, no, these are the places where the Satan stood for Ibrahim and he tried to whisper to him and he threw the pebbles on him. To my knowledge, all of this is not authentic. And a lot of the things related to the Hajj are not authentic, with the exception of the going between Safa and Marwa for Hajar, for example, and the well of Zamzam, etc. Now, why do we throw the pebbles? Why do we go to Muzdalifah? Why do we stay in Arafah? Why do we stay in Mina? Why do we do all of this? Because the Prophet said, "Khudhu anni manasikakum," take from me the rituals of Hajj. Learn them from me. And these things were only established to raise the remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jal. So you do not have to follow these weak narrations unless you are certain that they are authentic. Other than that, leave them aside. Don't think about, yes, this is where Ibrahim stood with Shaitan and he did this and he did that. We don't have any authentic hadith that backs this up. Therefore, we refrain from relating it to that, and we do it simply to believe in the Prophet ﷺ. Abu Muhammad from Nigeria.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good evening, akhi.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you for doing. I have been sending some questions through the Twitter, but then maybe you might have more opportunity to explain it.
Yes.
Regarding the permissibility of time after Shuruk, how many minutes after the appearance of Shuruk?
Okay.
I would like you to explain if possible. Thank you.
I wrote to you the answer, but maybe it did not come to you now. Okay, I think we have time for these two questions. I'm not sure. I'm not going to take any questions until I answer Fatma's question. Sister Fatma has OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. A lot of the people have this, and it grows and it reduces depending on your belief, on your conviction. So many times I may feel ill, and I increase this by hearing people saying, oh, you look bad, your face is pale, your temperature is high, and I get convinced and I believe in that and I feel sick. And so many times people give me a pill and say, try this, it's a good medication. I take it and I feel wonderful. And then they say that this is a placebo. It has no effect, it's only minerals or it's only salt. It's all in here. So, Sister Fatima, you've been suffering for 16 years and you want to improve your case and you want to progress and you want a complete healing from what you are suffering from. Well, I have good news and I have bad news. The bad news is that there is no such healing process that people can give you. But the good news is the only one who's able of curing you and relieving you from what you're suffering is Allah Azza wa Jal. If you believe in Him and not in people and not what they say, if you believe in Him, if you put your trust in Him, if you know that He's the only one who could heal you, He's the healer subhanahu Azza wa Jal. If you know and believe this, wallahi, you will be 100% cured in no time. It's an issue of conviction. This is the problem. Our problem is, I know that Allah can cure me. I know that Allah Azza wa Jal has the ability to do whatever He wants Azza wa Jal. But maybe, yeah, well, I think I'm going to take this medication. I think I'm going to trust this doctor. I think I'm going to go to this priest or whatever. You have to go to the source. When you have little streams coming out from the river, why take water from the streams and not go to the river itself? All the healing is in Allah's hands subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you put your trust, if you lay all your trouble on Him Azza wa Jal and put your stuff on His doorsteps and keep on knocking, by supplicating, by doing ruqya, by not thinking or suspecting that he will help you, believing 100% that he will help you. And this is why when I raise my hands and I supplicate to Allah, I'm not doubtful. I'm not saying, okay, maybe you want to, if you wish. No, I insist on Allah because I am in a state of humility and submissiveness and in need. I'm showing my poverty to Him, and I insist that He opens the door. And I keep on knocking, the door will open. So if you want to get rid of this OCD, sister, you have to work hard. Do your ruqya in the morning, in the afternoon, and before you go to bed. Supplicate to Allah Azza wa Jal between the adhan and the qama. And also while you are prostrating. You're telling me that you're not punctual in your prayer. This is one of the main causes of your OCD, that you are not connected with Allah Azza wa Jalla. Mentions in Surah Al-Ra'd, الذين آمنوا وتطمئن قلوبهم بذكر الله ألا بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب. It is those who remember Allah Azza wa Jal and they find their hearts tranquility in remembrance of Allah. The hearts will never reach the state of tranquility without remembering Allah. So the more you remember Allah Azza wa Jal, the more your OCD reduces and shrinks in size and in effect. But you have to be consistent. You have to keep on supplicating, showing Allah your humility. Not just crying. Cry, we can all cry. I'm suffering. Okay, what did you do about it? Nothing. Allah doesn't want to help me. Astaghfirullah. Is this what you think of Allah? You have to help yourself and ask Him to help you. So you have to go out of your way, doing the ruqya, supplicating to Allah, praying on time, trying to overcome your own self, your own demons, your own bad influence of these thoughts, while putting in the back of your mind, it is Allah who is helping you. It is Allah who's doing this for you. Give up hope of everyone, and especially of yourself, and keep your hope only with Allah Azza wa Jal, and you will find, inshallah, your healing. Brother, I forgot his name, from Nigeria. He's asking about the time of shuruq. The time mentioned in the calendars, let's say it's 6:30 in Jeddah where I live, it says 6:30. This is the time when the ring of the sun is on top of the surface of the earth. This is not the time where I can pray, because the Prophet told us to pray, you have to wait the length of a spear throw, which is approximately 15 minutes after the time mentioned in the calendars. So whenever it says sunrise is at 6, add to that 15 minutes, and this is the time where you can pray. This is all the time we have. Apologies again for the technical errors that we had, and until I meet you inshallah next Friday same time, fi amanillah, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me.
Malkura.
Okay.
And I want to know how to register, because I can't find any information about how to get admission.
Okay. I'll
Do
try
you have
to.
any idea about this?
I will try to answer your question, inshallah. Any more questions?
No, that's it.
Okay.
Jazakallah.
Wa jazak. Riham from Saudi Arabia, she's 16 years old. MashaAllah, she has the interest of completing her studies in Al-Qura and doing tafsir, which is one of the noblest sciences of Islam. However, she is unable to register. She doesn't know how to register. I'm afraid that I share the same ignorance with you. I do not know how people register online for Al-Qura University. So the only thing for you to do is to go with your parent, with your father, or with both of them, and go physically to Al-Qura and ask around so that you can see whether it is possible for you to register or not. Online, I have no idea if they have this or not. Safiya, our third question from the email, she says, can you tell me if Khidr, peace be upon him, is a prophet or just a righteous person, and what is the significance of the event that took place between him and Musa alayhi salatu wassalam. It's an issue of dispute whether Khidr was a prophet or not, and the most authentic opinion that he was a prophet. Otherwise, one of the greatest 5 messengers of Allah Azza wa Jal would not be ordered to go and seek knowledge from him. And if you look at the events, he says in one of them that I have not done it through my own will, meaning that it is Allah Azza wa Jal who wanted to do this, and Allah
What I beseech, keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد, السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته, and welcome to what I hope to be a new episode of Ask Huda live, broadcasting to you from Jeddah. And I apologize for the technical error. Apparently there was no sound, but no problem, we will start all over again inshallah. The first question, until we receive your phone calls, was from Iman, and I read the whole question, so I'm not going to read it again. Iman says that he suffers from a low level of Iman, though the 10 days of the Hijjah and before, he was feeling extremely well, and after fasting the 9 days of the Hijjah and doing the things as usual, though he continues to go to the masjid for prayer, he continues to read the Quran, he feels a lot of doubts and bad thoughts, evil thoughts coming into his mind. He's scared that he's becoming a hypocrite. What can he do to get rid of these doubts and the feeling of hypocrisy? First of all, you have to think like a criminal in order to fight crime. You don't have to be a criminal, but you have to think like one. So if I were to think like Satan, and I would like to get you off your comfort zone and into my world of doubts and suspicion and hypocrisy, what would be the best thing to do? To cast these doubts. Al-Hasan al-Basri, and it's also reported that Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said that, may Allah be pleased with him, that hypocrisy, no one fears it except a believer. And no one is in safeguard from hypocrisy except a true hypocrite. So if I feel that, no, I'm not feeling any feelings of hypocrisy, I'm, mashallah, in strength of my Iman, then this is a sign that I am in the wrong path. So this is a good sign that you are still a believer and you believe in Allah Azza wa Jal and you have a lot of Iman in your heart. Secondly, you have to analyze what had been introduced into your life after the 10 days of the Hijjah, because there is a probability, there is a possibility that after doing good deeds, and a lot of them, Shaitan comes to us and says, listen, you've done something that gives you credit to loosen up a bit and maybe do lesser good deeds for like 3-4 weeks. So he gives you the feeling of content and being happy of what you're doing, to the extent that you let your guard down, and this is when he attacks you. So what I would advise you is that you offer ruqya on yourself without any hesitation or fear. Don't get thoughts in your mind that I have jinn, I'm possessed with jinn, I have black magic, I have envy, I have evil eye. All of this, put them aside. Offer ruqya to yourself to restore your Iman and to cast away any of these doubts. And at the same time, try to analyze what came up. So if you have new company, bad friends, then get rid of them. If you were all the time with your good friends, practicing Muslims, and now you're a little bit away from them, go back to them again so that you can get the ball rolling again and you get the system restored. But don't allow the shaitan to come and play with you in this fashion. Muhammad sends a question. He says that he works in the capital city of his country and it's about 120 kilometers away from his house. He spends 5 days in the capital working, and he goes to the in the weekend for a couple of days to his house. So is it permissible for him to shorten and join or combine prayers? And the answer is no. This is not permissible for two reasons. First of all, 120 kilometers is not something that is considered to be far, especially when people are commuting on daily basis. And I believe that there are people who are commuting on daily basis from the capital to your village or to your town. Secondly, the 5 days you spend in the capital, because it is permanent and this is your work, this gives you the status of a resident. So you're residing in your village or your town, but at the same time you're residing in the capital for 5 days, and therefore you should not combine or join. We have Riham from Saudi.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
I'm 16 years old and I'm schooling here in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
And my father works here too, but I want to study tafsir in
revealed to me to do what I had done. And about the significance, there are so many lessons to be learned. Among them is that this incident took place because Musa, peace be upon him, was asked by the sons of Israel, is there anyone more knowledgeable than you? And he said, I know no one who is more knowledgeable than myself. Okay, we have Abu Fayyad from Qatar.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yeah. I have one question regarding the witr prayer.
Okay.
After the Isha prayer, I didn't pray witr with the intention of getting up for tahajjud and make the prayer for witr. And I was overslept and I could not got up in time. By the time I got up, it's already Fajr time. Do I need to make up a witr prayer? If I need to make the witr prayer, how I need to make the witr prayer?
I will answer your question, inshallah. How many rak'ahs do you offer during your witr prayer? Okay, I think we've lost Abu Fayyad. Abu Fayyad has a question about when a person misses his witr prayer, or generally speaking, his night prayer, and he wakes only for Fajr. So does he have to, and underline the word have to, does he have to make up for the night prayer missed? The answer is no. It is not a must. It is not mandatory. It is something highly recommended. Okay, then if it's recommended, how do I do it? You have the time between after Fajr